Get ready, folks, because gloom and doom loom for the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states. We have severe weather going on across parts of the South, and we have a few other things going on, kind of a complex forecast going into the weekend, and we will look ahead to next week in the long range. That is all straight ahead tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show, which is brought to you by...
That's my cue? Omni True Value.
Hold on. Let's start this again. Which is
Omni Landscape and Garden Supply.
Which is brought to you by
Omni Landscaping and Garden Supply, 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in the southwestern corner of beautiful downtown Suffolk County on Long Island.
Yes, and what do they got, Joe?
Well, they've got everything. They've got salt, which you don't need anymore.
What does it say on the screen, Joe?
They have mulch.
Yes.
Lots of mulch.
Topsoil.
And sand and salt, too.
And topsoil, yes. And if you're a landscaper or a do-it-yourselfer, Omni is the place to go. 631-756-1125 for the best prices in town. And the website is...
OmniTrueValue.com.
And also our affiliation with Tempest by WeatherFlow. Get the revolutionary Tempest weather system and join the fastest growing observing network on the planet. The link is at the top of the chat board. It's pinned there for your convenience. And they have other weather merchandise too. And use the coupon code Joe and Joe Weather Show and you get an extra
10% off.
That's it. All right. Well, you pay attention most of the time. All right. Here we are on a Wednesday. Speaking of gloom and doom, well, I had that today all day long. Barely got into the 50s. I actually had to turn the fireplace on to get some heat going. And, according to my Tempest by WeatherFlow, I'm going to check it right now. And right now, so you get it right on your app, what your weather station is say, 53, 98% humidity. The pressure by sea level is 30.1, okay, adjusted for sea level, but it's somewhere in the low 28s on my home barometer. And I had 0.79 inches of rain today.
Wow.
Here in Northeast Georgia.
Rather wet.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was no thunder or anything. It was just regular gloom and doom rain with a mostly northeast wind. Wasn't fun.
Now, the interesting thing about my weather was that I varied from bright sunshine to very ominous-looking cloud cover. And also, I have a report from a former colleague of mine at News 12 Westchester, one of my former producers, Larry Saperstein, who says that at the Portchester Golf Club, they had dime-sized hail today.
Well, I guess why not?
That caught me.
Cold air aloft. There are some low-top thunderstorms running around.
Well, I can also tell you that from a report I got from West Melbourne, Australia, that they had quarter-sized hail that from a severe thunderstorm that pushed through the downtown area. So if you were in Portchester, you had hail. If you went to Melbourne, Australia, they had hail. I didn't have hail today, though.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe sometime in the future we'll get you some hail.
Yeah.
After I thought, well, first of all, there's more rain coming, and it's all over the place across the southern states. Back through Texas, we've got severe weather there tonight. We've got severe weather down in Florida. We've got these two lows that are going to be moving up. I guess if you want to salvage one day out of the next bunch, is probably tomorrow.
I guess tomorrow it's going to start off a little bit on the wet side. I mentioned the chance for some spotty light showers or sprinkles tonight, which may carry over into early tomorrow. And then by midday and afternoon, we should break out into sunshine and dry weather. And I think I think it's going to be dry on Friday too, Joe. Although Friday will probably be a very dreary looking sky, a lot of cloud cover, and it looks like now that the most adverse part of the weekend is going to be Saturday. I think Saturday looks like a day where we're going to have quite a bit of rain. Sunday, still some showers, but maybe even some pokes of sunshine and milder weather, and then yet another dose of possible significant rainfall coming for Sunday night into Monday.
Yeah, it's gone from where it was supposed to be nothing much from this first low, and something somewhat gangbusters with the second low, with rain and wind and all the rest of it. The first low has become a little more important, which has kind of mitigated the second system to an extent. But I think when you put the whole thing together, you add the two events up, probably going to wind up with a couple of inches of rain spread out over about 3 days or so, and that at least is good, because you want a long duration rain event for the rain to soak into the ground. Unfortunately, it's going to come on a weekend, so everybody's going to be upset about that. But what are you going to do? That's the way. Well, Sal Blandino, of course, he's already on the edge of the cliff anyway. But listen, he gets attention. He gets attention from this show, from the two of us, which nobody else will give him, because he's been blocked from every other weather page or weather whatever. So we love you, Sal.
And don't forget Mr. Reuben Fairchild.
Oh, whatever happened to him? We still have we still can occasionally give out the Reuben Fairchild Award for bravery.
But as Renata mentions on the chat board, it was okay here. I mean, we got up to about 61 degrees, and yeah, they maybe were a couple of sprinkles here and there, some sunshine. No, we did not see any hail, though, any kind of convective activity, at least up in our neck of the woods.
Yeah, 53. I'm at the high for the day.
Wow.
Yeah, and they updated this forecast page. I seldom look at weather apps, because I always have people telling me what's on their weather app, and then they outline how it tells them it's going to rain every day for the rest of their natural lives. But I have thunderstorms likely tomorrow, thunderstorms likely Friday, rain possible Saturday, rain likely Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week, all partly cloudy until next Friday, when rain is possible.
Yeah.
They have it. Even the apps have it all figured out. All right. Welcome to everybody on the chat board tonight. Welcome to everybody in the background too, watching the Joe and Joe Weather Show. Maybe it's your first time. Maybe you've been here before. If you have, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn your notifications on. Do you know why? Because if you have your notifications on, you will know when the Joe and Joe Weather Show is on, because we are on Monday through Thursdays at 7:35 p.m., Sundays at 11 a.m., and Fridays and Saturdays, Joe and I usually run away and hide for a few days so that we can recharge our batteries. If you like the show, as 32 individuals have already, by all means, please do hit the like button. It makes, Joe and I have self-esteem issues. So when you hit the like button, it just sort of lifts our spirits up. If only temporary, but it does lift our spirits up to some degree. So thank you for those of you who have hit the like button. And hey, if you get us to 100 likes, who knows what we'll do. All right, why don't we, shall we?
Surely.
Let's start with lay watches and lay warnings and whatever else is laying around here. We've got I love the fact that we've had probably more frost and freeze advisories in the last 3 days than we've seen in ages. And we have them in the upper Ohio Valley, the lower Great Lakes, frost advisories and some freeze warnings there. You can thank this lovely blocking pattern for that. We have two severe weather watches up going on right now. One up and down the east coast of Florida and also running into the interior. Severe thunderstorm watch there. We have a tornado watch in, I guess that's east central Texas. Looks like Dallas-Fort Worth is lying just outside of that tornado watch, but we'll give it a look-see in a moment. And a couple of flood advisories for melting snows in the west and some flood watches that are up for the Sierra Nevadas and also for eastern portions of Idaho. And as we look at the satellite loop, there is a weak weather front moving on through. This morning, Joe, there were two distinct bands. There was one band of dying showers that moved through, and there were breaks. There were big breaks of clear skies on either side. So you had some clear skies, then you have this one weakening band, then you had clear or at least partially clear skies behind that, and then you have this second band that was forming in west central PA, and that is now moving through eastern Pennsylvania and into western New Jersey. And as we check out, we're going to jump around a little bit. Going to check out the radar. And actually there are a couple of what look like small either downpours or maybe there could be a rumble or two of thunder in this mix from the area that runs up and down the Hudson Valley and across now northern New Jersey to southeastern Pennsylvania. I'm surprised. I was a little surprised that it was convective today. I suppose I shouldn't be, but I was.
Well, the one thing I don't understand on the chat board is somebody, I think it was Mark, Mark G, said, I'm so happy to see that Joe C and Joe R have gone electric. What does that mean?
We've gone. Oh, maybe because I don't know. Is he referring to the fact that I pulled up the app of my Tempest by WeatherFlow weather station, and and gave you the observation and the total rainfall? Perhaps that was it.
That's perhaps the possible answer, but I didn't. It seemed ambiguous, and I couldn't figure it out.
Oh, no, he said that's because we're recharging our batteries.
Oh,
I meant our own personal batteries, Mark, not the electronic stuff that we have.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
now that's clear.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark.
And here's a tight view. I'm going to go before I go back to the radar again. But here's the tight view of the northeast satellite loop. I've been using the GOES loop with the lightning flashes, but apparently something happened yesterday at GOES and they're not working, so they're still stuck. As of when I checked last a couple of hours ago, I didn't bother to check again this evening, but this is what it looks like right now. And you can see the area here that's moving through the northeast. But again, it was nice weather on either side of that. Now, how much of this is going to linger around, I don't know, but it does seem to be moving along at the moment.
Well, it does. There is some progression. I mean, we have been talking about a blocking pattern, but still things are moving slowly but surely, and we are looking for some deterioration in the overall pattern here in the Northeast. And again, it's been questionable as to which day in particular is going to be the worst. It looked like at one time, Joe, Sunday was going to be by far and away the worst with wind and rain and possibly even some convection. But now, as it looks like it's split into two, with one period of nasty weather coming on Saturday, and then the second period on Monday. Sunday may still see some showers, but right now Sunday doesn't look quite so bad in terms of overall weather conditions for the weekend.
Yeah, I just wonder how I just wonder if the marine layer is going to get out of the way once it gets in here. It can be tough to dislodge.
Yes. Well, as I mentioned a couple of days ago, the crowbar effect. We need to pry it out, so to speak. And it's always difficult to tell exactly what's going to happen in such situations so far in advance. You have to get up close to get a better handle. But right now, it looks like the overall pattern seems to suggest that while Sunday may have some showers, may also have some sunshine, and certainly it looks like also if we can get the marine layer out, Sunday looks like the milder of the two weekend weather days.
Now, on the back to the U.S. satellite loop, just want to make note of what's over in Texas and Oklahoma. You could see that there's a rotation in northwest Texas in the upper air with the clouds rotating in a counterclockwise fashion. So that's a rather strong upper air feature that's moving eastward and is driving the development of severe weather. You've got the subtropical moisture that's coming up from the Pacific and Mexico that's getting involved in all of this. So you've got the seeds here for a severe weather outbreak, which is actually already underway. And Florida, if you take a look, you can see the thunderstorms developing there and blowing off, with the cloud tops blowing off to the east. The other thing I want to point out is the fact that the southern part of this is just pretty much moving straight west to east, at least for now. And you can see the troughs and short waves that are moving along in the northern stream. Now, one of the keys to the forecast is whether you get something from the north to kind of try to at least phase or maybe pick up some system up from the south. And that's really, where the dilemma lies in terms of trying to figure out what's going to go on for the weekend. I'm going to bring up the radar here, and let's go to, see, David Schwartz has put up a couple of bulletins. Thank you, David, that have been going out. If you're watching the Joe and Joe Weather Show, we're live at 7:52 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you're watching this later on tonight, obviously the satellites and radars are all going to be dated. So if you're watching because there's severe weather where you are, you know what to do. Go to weather.gov to get the latest weather information. We got a couple of tornado warnings here, along with some severe thunderstorm warnings that are up. They are all south of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but not by much, but a fair enough distance. And you have sort of a renegade severe thunderstorm warning along the Louisiana-Texas border there. In Florida, there's a couple of small severe thunders. Looks like they actually have boxes here up, Joe, for probably subdivisions. They look so small, but they are there. One looks like this. One is sitting right on I-75 on the way to Tampa, maybe right near the extension of the Florida Turnpike, I'm guessing. I'm not sure. And there's another one northeast of there. We've got a special marine warning that's out offshore. Why don't we check Tornado HQ and see what's happening there? And here we go. So here's our severe weather map, or here will be the severe weather map that will pop up. So let's see what's happening here. We have a tornado warning that will expire in 22 minutes. And this is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Mart, or 14 miles east of Belmead, moving east at 25 miles per hour. And this covers the counties of Falls, Limestone, and McClellan, Texas. And this, again, it's 7:54, so this has got 22 minutes to go. There's one that's going to expire in 7 minutes for Bosque and Hamilton counties, and one just expired in Mills County. So that leaves us with 2 working tornado warnings and a whole bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings. The Florida ones are in Sumter County, Marion County, Lake County, and Alachua, Alachua/Marion counties. And then that Renegade one I was telling you about that was on the Texas-Louisiana state line covers Sabine, and I'm guessing that's Sabine Parish and Shelby County in Texas. Severe thunderstorm 7 miles east of Shelbyville, Joe. Shelbyville. Have you ever been to Shelbyville?
No, I have not.
Or 13 miles east of Center. That's an interesting name for a town. Or what town do you live? I live in Center.
The Center.
Yeah,
I live in
the
Center. Yeah.
You should meet my friend who lives on the edge. Anyhow, the Storm Prediction Center. So here you see the 2 working the 2 working severe weather watches that are up. The tornado watch in red, the severe thunderstorm watch over Florida in blue. Both are sitting in areas of enhanced risk of severe weather. Not often you see enhanced risk in Florida, but every once in a while you do get it, and that's what we have tonight.
Well, we said yesterday. I mean, didn't I say yesterday that it seemed like the entire Florida peninsula was under the gun today for activity? And the one thing I do notice is that, or did notice yesterday, is that they went basically for hail and high winds, but they really didn't put much in the forecast for tornadoes. And now I'm seeing the mention of tornadoes in some of these warnings that are being posted.
Yeah,
so
they did stick a 2% tornado risk there. They didn't have that yesterday. And in Texas, they've got a rather robust 5% and even a small area of 10% inside that enhanced zone in Texas. And then, of course, you got the 2% that goes all the way out to the Mississippi-Alabama state line in the southeastern corner of Mississippi there. That's for tonight, of course. Now, again, as we've been saying, severe weather, because of the blocking pattern, everything is more south as opposed to moving up, in the plains or up into the upper Midwest or even the Ohio Valley. So tomorrow's slight risk is along the Gulf Coast from the South Texas. Then there's a little gap where it becomes marginal and then becomes slight risk again for the Louisiana coast, the Mississippi coast, going inland by a bunch of miles, the portion of Alabama, southwest Georgia, and into the Florida Panhandle. Also, we have a marginal risk in western Nebraska and southeastern Wyoming for tomorrow. Then for day 3, which takes us to Friday into Saturday, slight risk again in much of central Texas, with the marginal risk pushing up, almost nudging into Oklahoma there. Marginal risk from extreme southeastern Virginia down the Carolinas to southeast Georgia and almost all of Florida, except the very southwest corner. And they went this is for Friday into Saturday. So I think on the long range, which they had probability too low, potential too low for Sunday into Monday. Now they've got predictability too low for days 4 and for day 5. So for Saturday and Sunday into Monday, now they have predictability. So they maybe opened up to the possibility that there might be some convective stuff running around with that Sunday system when it moves through Sunday night into Monday morning.
I would believe that would be the case. I think if there's going to be any kind of convective activity, it would be probably for Sunday night late into early Monday, and something to keep note of or something to watch. So I think the convection can be included. I mean, Joe, the general outlook for Sunday, again, milder temperatures as opposed to an unseasonably cool Saturday, which suggests that the marine layer might be forced out for the second half of the weekend, warming things up. And again, if it warms up, then that possibly will increase the chances of convection and possibly the inclusion of thunderstorms. We'll see.
Now, WPC on their rainfall map, I have updated this map now 4 times in the last hour, okay? And every time I update it, Joe, they add a little bit more of heavier rain in the Northeast. And they're doing it piecemeal. So I'm not sure how that works, how they work these maps up, how much of this is, I'm sure there's human input, and then there's probably some computer modeling input that goes in here. But anyhow, I'm just noticing that they, as I said, they've kind of added the precip here in the Northeast. Now, some of that also they may be doing that too because of what's going on this evening. They figured, well, we better nudge up because we've got precip here, because they really weren't forecasting any general thunderstorms up here yesterday. But anyhow, in the reds is 2.5 inches. The lighter shade of red there is 3 inches, and that's what you see in Maine and eastern New Hampshire. The 2 inches are kind of splashed all the way down into the northern half of New Jersey and northeastern Pennsylvania. Much of everyone east of the Appalachians gets at least 1.5 inches. And then you get some big amounts again, coastal Carolinas, southern Georgia to South Carolina, down to the Florida Panhandle. There's even a 5 inch plus area being indicated on the Panhandle, and then going back into southeast Louisiana and over into East Texas. So a fair amount of rain. One thing about blocking patterns in the spring is that you do wind up with a lot of wet weather somewhere.
It's going to be, the funny thing is that you mentioned how you had to update it 4 times. And I say to myself, well, gee, don't they watch the Joe and Joe show? Don't they?
Well,
Don't they? But we're thinking of
we well, Joe.
now I'm blowing our own horn, right?
Well, perhaps they should alter their map posting times, rather than have to update on the fly after listening to us pontificate about what's really going to happen. They can, they could save themselves a little bit of work, I think.
Perhaps.
In case, there's always somebody that doesn't understand me. Okay, so many people don't understand me. I'm joking. Okay, I love WPC. I love SPC. So we just kind of, kid around when we say what we say with regards to them watching our show. All right.
It's like that Charlie Brown Christmas show where Charlie Brown says to Violet, "Thanks for the Christmas card you sent me, Violet. I didn't send you a Christmas card, Charlie Brown." And Charlie Brown comes out with the line, Don't you recognize sarcasm when you see it?
Or, speaking of sarcasm, when Daffy Duck says, "Thanks for the sour persimmons, cousin." Trish Sparacchio hits the tip jar. Thank you, Trish. On this Wednesday night, we've got the GFS. I put up the GFS total rainfall forecast map. And still kind of going with the idea. Now, this is through Monday evening, so it's going to count everything that's falling from 8 o'clock, actually, anything that's fallen from 2 o'clock this afternoon right through next Monday evening. So that lightish, whitish, purplish area that you see in much of the Northeast and Northern Mid-Atlantic states, that's 2 to maybe 3 inches of rain. And then you see the darker purples down in Georgia and along the Georgia-Carolina coast. Those are running, that's when you start to run into 4.5, even 5-inch rainfall amounts, and then they extend back over into Louisiana. The very dark blue is the edge of a 1/2 inch of liquid, and that it goes back almost to about Chicago to St. Louis, to across southern Kansas into southeastern Colorado. And here's a we'll bring up the upper air, and there you go, Joe. Always nice to look at, that popped up. I'm thinking, okay, we've kind of regressed into February now, but this is actually for Tuesday, May 2nd. Okay.
Now look at that. Look at that.
I mean, that's just insane. Really. I mean, come on. Come on. You have to really rub this in. I'm saying that because that's a winter weather lover's, at least a cold weather lover's dream. I don't know about a snow lover's dream, but it is a cold weather lover's dream. Oh well, they come when they come. Leon Probitsky hit the tip jar too. Thank you, Leon.
And look at that monster that's hitting the West Coast. Early in May.
Okay, so let's run through this. So here we go. This was yesterday, and you see the upper low dropping down through Colorado and New Mexico. That's our severe weather culprit for tonight. And it opens up. And then you also could see there's another arm in that northern part of the jet. And that's this part. So I'll somebody left a comment on the on our show last night saying they liked, they liked when I draw on the map. So I'm going to accommodate. So here's the northern part of the jet. And then you have the systems that are running around in the southern part. That should be a little more curvy. I don't know why it did that. And there's your shortwave that is in Texas. And then, of course, again, you got all this northern energy that's just sitting up there and running northwest to southeast. And again, sometimes these things will phase and sometimes they'll stay separate. And In this case, with the first system, it really stays separate and lifts up. Now, this was supposed to go straight east and not be a problem, but instead, it's getting caught by that northern stream feature, and it's lifting up into the Ohio Valley, and that's why we've got this rain coming for probably later Friday night and Saturday. And now, after that, Joe, look at there's this diver that comes down into Minnesota and Iowa and cuts off, and then you've got this another strong feature in the southern part of the jet, this wrapped up upper low in southern Louisiana. And that gets picked up and ejected up the coast of the Northeast as the northern upper low strengthens. You got this negative tilt going on here Sunday evening, right in here. You see it? Right there? You got this negative tilt going on.
It's like a little V.
You know, I wonder whether we're going to go back to something that the models were doing back a few days ago, which is either a strong front with a point of occlusion low and a tightening gradient with the southeast winds, or the Europeans keeps trying, even though I didn't see it today because I don't know if there's a problem because it wasn't on Tropical Tidbits and I forgot to look on Pivotal. Maybe I'll give Pivotal a look in a second, but the European keeps trying to take a low up just offshore, moving to the northeast. So this is a very vigorous. I mean, for late April, early May, this is really unusual. And yeah, look at there's this animal here that's coming into the west on May 1st, sliding down off the coast of Oregon and California, and then that just sort of gets left there for a while. And meanwhile, as we move through next week, look at this, one upper low pulls out, another one drops in. I mean, this blocking pattern, now we're going into 12, 13 days. We still have this blocky pattern in play by the time we get to May 9th and 10th. No warm air with this.
Yep. Nope.
Other than the
and then CPC has the eastern part of the country for the next 6 to 10 and even 8 to 14 days, next couple of weeks, below normal probabilities for below normal temperatures. And in fact, I think even I saw tonight, let me let you take a look, and if it's interesting enough, I'll share it with everybody. I do believe that they have in the probabilistic or hazards outlook for temperatures. Yeah,
really?
For temperatures. You want to
Oh yeah, you have
allow me to share that.
You have to show us that, of course.
Yeah.
All right, give me a second here. While you're doing that, I just want to acknowledge Helen Bertona hitting Super Chat tonight. Thank you, Helen. And Ken Musillo hitting a Super Chat after he hit Super Thanks yesterday, or the day before yesterday. So thank you, Ken, for hitting both Super Thanks and Super Chat. And also, as I said, Leon Probitsky. Did you hit it again, Leon? No, this is the same one. Leon had already hit it. Okay, you can go ahead and share. And I'll give you the screen.
Yeah, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. I mean, take a look, folks. This is for, and you expect by the time we get into May, you would expect that we'd be talking about, in terms of hazardous temperatures, heat. We'd be talking about temperatures maybe going above 90 or 95. No, here we are from the 4th to the 10th of May, hazardous temperatures, chilly or cold temperatures, slight risk in this zone here. Let me just see if I can blow this up a bit. Well, that's a little bit too big, so I'll just go back to that original. Slight risk of hazardously cold temperatures in this region, encompassing much of the Ohio Valley on into portions of Pennsylvania and Virginia, all the way down into western North Carolina and South Carolina, and into your area, Joe.
Yes.
Into northern Georgia. This again is for the 4th to the 6th of May, and then a moderate risk, which means they really do feel that there could be some really chilly, if not downright cold temperatures for this time of the year on May the 4th. And May the 4th is when? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a week from tomorrow. I mean, this is cold stuff that is being forecast by the Climate Prediction Center. And in fact, let me just quickly go.
Those areas, by the way, have already, their growing seasons have already started. So that's
Right.
not good.
You take a look at this. I mean, this is for May 2 to May 6, and they've got that below normal 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 60 to 70% probability of below normal temperatures in parts of the Ohio Valley, West Virginia, Western Pennsylvania, and even into Western New York. Um, Crazy, just crazy. And if you want to see if this continues, it does, because when we go to 8 to 14, you think that it's going to start warming up? No, it doesn't. It's still below normal all the way until May the 10th in well, most areas east of the Mississippi, save for the Florida Peninsula, which finds itself near or above normal. So there you go.
Perfect. Great time of year for this. And that's sarcasm.
I mean it. I mean it. We had no winter, hardly no winter. Many above normal days. For goodness sake, there were days in February up here where it was in the 70s. And here we are now in May. Everybody's getting ready now for spring, planning stuff. Oh boy, and I said this a couple of days ago, and maybe let's see. This is the 26th. Make a note of this. April 26th. We're gonna have an unseasonably chilly May and probably June, and then all of a sudden somebody's gonna flick a switch and it's gonna turn unbearably hot for July and August.
Yeah,
as it always seems to do.
Nothing surprises me anymore when it comes to weather. And it hasn't for many decades now. But anyhow, here's our southern system moving east. Again, tomorrow, outside of what's left over in the early morning hours, gets out of the way, should be okay in the afternoon. Rain starts to approach on Friday, and actually the new GFS by Friday evening has its radar presentation with a low in northwest Ohio that's going to be forced to redevelop probably somewhere off the Virginia coast. You got that high up in the Maritimes. You've got the onshore flow. So as Joe said earlier, at the very least, it's going to be it's going to be a gloom and doom day, whether it rains or not. But it's got rain coming in Friday night into Saturday. Much of the day Saturday is rainy until very late. And then that area pulls out. We get a break, and now it looks like it's going. It seems like, Joe, I think it wants to go back to this idea of either a low going up the east side of the Appalachians or something a little bit further east for Sunday, because now it's got rain on our doorstep Sunday afternoon. It's got rain up into the Catskills, western New Jersey, southern New Jersey, Pennsylvania, down into Virginia. There's a 97 low sitting in north central Georgia. And then it's got rain Sunday night, Monday into about Monday morning. It's got a low that rides up the east side of the Appalachians. It's the low center at 2 a.m. is in northern Delaware, believe it or not. And it's one low center there, and then it goes up into Plattsburgh by Monday morning, and then it's done after that. We see slow improvement. Yeah, look at that. There's snow in the northern lakes. Okay, let's put up a winter weather advisory for the upper peninsula of Michigan and the northern area of the lower peninsula come Monday. So we'll get that, of course. Let's have a little bit of lake effect on May 3rd. Why not? Of course, let's just splash blue all over the place. And then that goes out. There's some kind of front along about Thursday with some showers and a low that goes by just to our north. And then another chilly high comes down behind that. And on it goes. And by the way, if those of you who live in the South, just remember, in this type of pattern like this, again, the severe weather, the axis of severe weather is going to be much further south than it usually is. And that's going to be running right along the Gulf Coast, from now over the weekend. Not that you get it every day, but you're going to get these lows that are going to move pretty far south of normal. And that carries on into the long range, a bit of a break next week for a little while. And then after that, there's probably going to be some more action to deal with this blocking pattern. So between the cold and the block, it's a lovely spring.
Yes.
Lovely spring.
You better believe it. You better believe it.
All right. Well, that's just.
What did we what did we do to deserve this?
Nothing.
I'll tell you what we deserved. I'll tell you what we deserved it. We deserved it because we didn't get anything during January, February, and March, and now all of a sudden here it is in April, leading into May, and we've got ourselves a winter.
Yep. Okay. Yes. You know what time it is, Joe?
Is it Briller
It's
Jeopardy
time for Briller Jeopardy. Yes. And Scott's going to take a couple of, some time off in the coming days. We wish him well as always. And also we wish Mother Briller well. Hope you're coming along well, Mother Briller. And now the questions, Joe, tonight we will go to monthly records for New York City. So the first one is one that we have spoken about many times, and we're going to probably speak about it again tonight, what is the highest temperature ever recorded? And please don't Google while you're, make an honest guess off the top of your head, folks. The highest temperature in the month of May.
I don't think in May we've ever gone to 100. But I certainly can say that we've gone way up there. Now, wasn't the month of May that situation you had talked about?
Yes.
Yes, at the National Weather Service.
Yes, exactly. So
you want to reveal
that?
Well,
I'm seeing some guesses here. Leon 95, Helen Bertona 96.
I'm going to say 99.
Earth Shield 93, Johnny Quest 92, Anthony Sparaccio 99, Maggie P 94, William Uber and Rick B 98. The answer actually, as Joe Rayo said, is 99, but the real answer is 101, Michael Azera, is because, as I have told the story, it was related to me by a great forecaster from NWS in New York named Tom Morgan. Wonderful guy, probably the deepest Brooklyn accent you would ever hear from anyone. But he told this story about this particular day where the initial forecast from the Weather Service that day was for a high around 70. And the forecaster had to keep updating his forecast, sending it out basically every 30 minutes because the temperature just took off. And it actually got to 101 when the forecaster went to the observer and said, "You put down 99 or I'll break your arm," or something along those lines. So it is 99 on the record, but legend has it, reliable legend has it that it was 101 on that day. What's the lowest temperature, Joe? The lowest temperature ever recorded in the month of May?
I think it was it 30? I think it was 30. I'm thinking it was 32, but I'm not entirely certain, but I'll say 32.
Well, Trish Sparaccio says 40. We're in New York City, Christinapedia. Anthony Sparaccio, 43. Christinapedia now says 31. Steve Lapointe is at 32, and that is the correct answer. It is 32. That was set on the 6th of May, 1891. Now, on the 5th of May, the day before, we set the record for the lowest daytime maximum for the month of May, which was...
Oh dear, the lowest.
The lowest daytime maximum was set the day before, May 5th, 1891.
48.
You say 48. Chuck Cardillo says 46. Steve Lapointe says 38. Christinapedia says 42. Tyler Fienga says 43. Michael Azera says 44. And back into the 30s for Tim and Leon at 39, Trish at 41, William Uber getting closer at 45, Chuck Cardillo actually the closest right now at 46. The lowest daytime, hold on. I take that back. Tyler Fienga has it, and so did, who else? I'm a little confused right now. No, Tyler's got it. 43, Joe. 43. I think because you said 48, right? That kind of stuck in my head. 43
Yeah.
is the lowest daytime maximum on May 5th, 1891. Now, name the 4 years where New York City received a trace of snow in the month of May. It's happened 4 times.
I only thought it happened twice.
4 times.
Really? Well, the only 2 times I know of was 1977, May 9th. Same date, May 9th. Was it in 2021?
2020.
2020. I don't know the other 2 times. I thought it only happened twice.
No, it happened 4 times. And 1995 was not it. Carol. 2018 was not it. Steve LaPointe. Trish Sparacchio says 87, 78, 54 in 2020. The 2020 was right, and the other ones, no. This is going to be hard for anybody to guess. So, anyway, actually, you have to go back a bit. 1956, Joe, on May the 9th, I don't know what day it was, but in 1956 it happened. And in 1946, it happened.
On the same day, May
No,
the
no,
9th?
no. I don't know if it was on May the 9th. I just have the years here. So the years were 2020, 1977, 1956. And you were born in 56, right?
Yes, I was.
56. So, you were still in utero in May of 56. Okay. And 1946. Which is when Alan Casper was born in 1946.
Yeah. Well, Alan, of course, is a big fan of snow. Something that I don't think Jim Jensen appreciated when he was the anchor at Channel 2 News during those years in the 70s. But that's neither
here nor there. Okie dokie. So I think that pretty well covers us tonight. Anything else you got in your mind?
No, off the top of my head, no.
I don't have any gossip. So I don't have much to say from my end. I was supposed to get my the crack in my windshield was, you remember, excuse me. I said yesterday.
Safe life repair.
Yes,
safe life
exactly.
Repair.
Unfortunately, they're an hour and a half drive from here. So I got somebody locally, and the windshield was shipped today, and they called me up at 3:30 to tell me that it was shipped, but it was damaged. So now, they can't fix my windshield tomorrow. They're going to fix it on. They're going to ship another one, and I will have my windshield on my truck fixed on Friday, which. Now, Friday was a travel day for me because I have to drive to Mississippi for the weekend. So it's I have to get it done in the morning, which they gave me a 9:30 appointment. They said it would take about an hour and a half. So, and I can bring JJ to the car repair place. They said he was more than welcome.
Did they wrap? I guess they didn't wrap up the first windshield in bubble wrap or something.
No, they said the molding on it or something was severed. So whatever that, I'm not sure what that is. Christinapedia wants to know how JJ is. Let's see if I can maneuver the camera here. There he is. Like he does every time I do a show. This is what he does. He comes in here. This is my office / bedroom. And he just goes to sleep. Right, JJ? Yeah, he's out. And as soon as I'm done, he'll get up and when I go back into the other room. So
one of these days I'm going to have to have Renata. One of these days, we're going to have Renata bring Mr. Sweeney down and introduce Mr. Sweeney to our television audience.
All right.
And But he's upstairs right now, and he's probably doing the same thing JJ is doing.
Sleeping. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the Joe and Joe Weather Show, as it is every single night, is brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 631-756-1125 is the phone number. And the website is
OmniTrueValue.com, ladies and gentlemen.
And also our newest relationship with Tempest by Weatherflow. Get the revolutionary Tempest weather system, enjoying the fastest growing observing network on this planet. The link is pinned to the top of the chat board. It's also in the descriptor of tonight's live show. And if you go there and you decide that you want to get this, it's probably very easy to install. You can mount it just about anywhere. It's just a couple of pieces. You put it together and you're done. You can use the coupon code Joe and Joe Weather Show. They have a lot of other weather merchandise too, but use that coupon code and you get 10% off.
Oh, and two things I must mention before we finish. Number one, all the kind people who hit Super Chat tonight, which was, of course, Helen Bertona, Ken Musillo, Leon Pravitsky, Trish Sparaccio, and Joe tonight on the CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell. She led off with all of the tornado activity that we just discussed here in our show tonight. And she said it was and this was a Cioffiism, folks. She actually used something out of the Joe Cioffi weather appendix. She said, quote, "It's a fascinating weather system."
I have that trademarked, you know. Well, you know, Joe, on the other hand, I think if that's just a dead giveaway that Nora, she watches the Joe and Joe Weather Show. Right? As soon as because they do the one, I think they do one at 6:30 for the East Coast, and then they do another one at 7 o'clock for the West Coast, or whatever,
Yeah.
However that works. And then she's free. So what does she do? She just pops on YouTube on her phone and she watches the Joe. And actually, she downloaded the meteorologist Joe Cioffi weather app, which you can get on Google Play or on the App Store. And you can watch the Joe and Joe Weather Show, right from there. You get notifications too. I mean, I'm sure Nora's got she has time on her hands. She only does a half-hour show, for God's sake.
Nora, thank you for watching the Joe and Joe Weather Show. Get all of your weather information. See, they get their weather information on the CBS Evening News from the Weather Channel. We can come up. We can do it for a lot cheaper amount if you're listening, Nora. Tell the corporate suits at CBS. Joe and Joe's waiting.
Yeah, okay, exactly. I don't think we should stay awake for a phone call. Do you?
You never know, Joe.
Oh, God. Well, look, phone call or no phone call, we will be back tomorrow night at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the YouTube channel Joe Cioffi Weather. Okay? Remember that, folks. Joe Cioffi. It's all about branding. Joe and Joe Weather Show,
Yes.
Joe Cioffi Weather, By the way, Joe hold on. I have it's not a bone to pick with you because, you and I have known each other for over 40 years. So there's nothing I can't say to you that I could say it to your face as opposed to saying it behind your back, although it's far more fun to do it that way. You have not done a short fuse update in a long, long, long time.
Yes.
Okay.
I have other things to do.
Okay, just.
I have a dog now. I have to take him out every hour, 90 minutes.
I was just wondering about that because it's been a long time since you've done a short fuse update.
Yes.
All right.
I'll get to, actually, I do have a channel on YouTube, and I was considering actually doing maybe a daily thing a la Tex Antoine, maybe getting a face and, just talking about the weather and putting up like a mustache and a rain hat or something, the way Tex used to do back in the 60s. but I think he probably has or had that, or maybe his family has that copyrighted or whatever, and I can't do it that way. But I'll bet you if I did it and did it properly or did it correctly, you'd probably get a lot of people just tuning in to watch that, as opposed to all those people who are on, the internet and doing all kinds of super duper special effects and all this sort of stuff.
Tyler, I'm not changing this YouTube channel, okay? But if you, the YouTube URL link to the channel page itself is youtube.com/c/Joe Cioffi Weather. And that brings up the channel page. That's where all the videos are. So that's all that is. That's always been that way. It always will be that way. So I just want to clarify that.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what, Joe? Go ahead. Why not? Go ahead and do it. Knock yourself out. We'll see you. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Nighty night.
Bye.